I'd like to thank him for filling in at the last minute. He's going to share a presentation, OT Cybersecurity according to Czech NIS2 Transposition. Quite a mouthful. Practical approach and implementation steps.
Okay, thank you very much. I was asked to have this presentation yesterday evening, so I tried to make it as best as possible. We are a new company, Iron OT, a new company. We have combined 30 years of experience with OT cybersecurity. In the past, I led as a regional ESIT cybersecurity officer cybersecurity implementations and management system for more than 132 factories in company Nestlé. And also I work in that Norske Veritas for cybersecurity, for oil and rigs, for all kinds of vessels, and also I work in Airbus Defence and Space as a lead cybersecurity architect. What I did there is a secret. So, I would like to talk about some OT cybersecurity incident. I would like to show you then what are operational technologies, just very simply, because I saw in the discussion yesterday that not all people have the same level of knowledge. So I would like to somehow standardize it. We will talk about NIS2 and OT. How is OT mentioned, or better to say not mentioned, in NIS2? We will talk about some Czech NIS2 transposition, because the Czech Republic was one of the first countries who has a large cybersecurity law for NIS1. So I will show you some highlights, how we did it. Also, I will show the practical experience, because what to say more than what I'm doing in this field. I will try to show it some practical experience from the implementations for companies which have like nine factories in several countries, or the company which has a 50 genetic clinics in all countries in European Union. Therefore, I would like to show you the difference on how to implement it, or some key steps. Why? Because as all of us know, NIS2 is transposed to the local laws, so it has a different version in different countries. Therefore, it's difficult for us cybersecurity experts to find information from some other countries on how to do it internationally. So, cyber incident. I would like to talk about cyber incident called Viasat. Please, who heard about that cyber incident? Viasat. One hand, right? It's one hand better than last week I spoke in Bratislava. There was no person. So, let's talk about that cyber incident. Let's talk about it is a satellite company. So let's first look to the satellite architecture. It has three segments. Space segment, yes, satellites on the low orbit. Link segment, it's called spot beams. This is the link of internet connection, and there is like a circle which is covered by that connection, and a ground segment, ground stations. You were able to see that on the previous slide. And from these ground stations, it is operated. What happened? In cybersecurity, we call it a cybersecurity kill chain. So we are able to every incident, we are able to take 4 pieces, 4 stages. Every incident, and we are able to scientifically split to different stages. It means if we, as a protectors, will be able to protect cyber incident in every of each stage, the attackers are not successful. I will not go here to the details, only what happened, that they probably took the IP addresses and credentials from some previous incident. They go through unique vulnerabilities of firewalls, Fortinet. You know, they traverse through DMZ and they access to the internal part of the network. At the end, they exploited by Viper malware, which is like a ransomware, but you are wiping the data. You are not able to unencrypt the data back. So at the end, what they did, they malfunctioned 5,800 wind turbines. It's not 5, it's not 58, it's not 580. It's 5,800 wind turbines. It's a huge and massive incident. It happened just 1 hour before the conventional attack of Russian Federation to the Ukraine started. So it was a part of that war already. But they did not want to attack these wind turbines, highly probably. They want to attack the Ukraine military and Ukraine government because they also use this satellite connection. So what might happen? Who from us who are doing risk management, who from us is thinking about dual use of technologies, that my internet connection, where my factory, location, office, whenever is connected, who is thinking in the risk assessment that this internet connection might be also used by some government or military, and then my systems will not be available. Right, so what happened? I will go just only quickly. What happened in terms that they did not have? No business continuity plan, no vulnerability management, no patch management, no supply chain management. They did not know which suppliers they are using, who is doing what. They did not know their critical assets. They did not do this dual tech cybersecurity risk assessment. They did not do third-party audits. There was just a pure chaos in terms of how their network was reconstructed back. And exactly what you can see here, no incident response plan, is the response of NIS2 of the European Union on exactly on these areas which this company missed to have implemented. This is exactly why we have this NIS2, to cover all of these phases: business continuity plan, risk management, supply chain management. This is the response. The response of European Union is not something like we would like to have, you know, sometimes something will happen. It is a response for real cases. And it's resolving the real cyber incidents. Let's talk about OT, just only quickly. What are OT technologies, operational technologies? There is not even one single definition all around the world. It means that I'm trying during the years somehow find the common things. Somehow I'm trying to find, to put all subsets of OT systems into one set. Important is that the OT systems today are not only industrial, they are also non-industrial. It means that the commercial sector, our private sector, is enhancing for OT technologies. In the future, every house will have some smart panel at the end. So the OT, we have industrial control systems, control system itself, SCADA systems, industrial control systems, PLCs, transportation systems, navigation systems, physical environment monitoring systems. It's also IoT are there, I'm putting there, medical devices. It means that today it's growing. There are more and more OT systems, and it will be huge and huge in comparison to IT. So important is to say that also these systems are interconnecting each other. PLCs are under industrial control systems, are also under transportation systems. So there is not one definition which can fit to all cases. What is the difference between OT and IT? Yes, I still have it. I will have it in my real life. OT systems, IT systems, we are taking care about confidentiality, integrity, and availability. In OT systems, it's everything opposite. If the car production will stop, at least, let's say for 1 hour, it can make a huge impact. That's why in OT, the availability of systems are more important than the confidentiality of data. For sure, there are cases if you have a production for a new European fighter jets, it is also confidential. But in general, availability is much more important for us. Why I'm talking about it? Because there is a difference in approach to cybersecurity. The difference in technology and difference of these elements are posing the difference in approach to cybersecurity. But what is the most important for us is health and safety. I don't take care that my data will be leaked if the system, some chemical tanks or something will explode by the cyber attack. It means that the health and safety is the most important aspect that we don't have in IT. It means that the OT, cybersecurity, is just a subset of many activities like fire safety, chemical safety, physical security. It's a very important subset, but it's only subset. So there is important to say that OT security must be integrated with other parts of security. This is the difference. In terms of the management, it's simple as that. We know ISO 27. I still hear it. That's why I have it here. I have ISO 27. I am okay. No, you are not. ISO 27 is for IT technologies. EEC is for OT technologies. The difference is explained here. ISO 27 is Information Security Management System. EEC 62443 is Cybersecurity Management System. It sounds similar, but it's not. ISO 27 is for IT information security. Instead, EEC 62443 is for OT cyber resilience. That's what I explained, this integration of many types of security and safety areas. ISO 27 is management and administrative controls. Instead of EEC, is management and technical controls. Here is the difference. ISO 27 is lacking of technical controls. Instead of EEC, is exactly explicitly saying what systems technically must have to be secure. In ISO 27, OT is not even mentioned. So how it can be for that if OT is there not even mentioned? This is clear as that. And EEC 62443 is bringing the cybersecure architecture called Purdue Enterprise Reference Architecture Model, with also compensating countermeasures, taking into the care the difference and uniqueness of OT technologies. So if the question is simple, is this and this standard suitable for OT cybersecurity? ISO 27 not, and EEC 62443 yes. It's simple as that. Let's look to the NIS. We already have here many presentations. We know that there are industries. Sometimes I'm working for food and beverages, large companies. They don't know that they are there. So sometimes it can be like a surprising that these companies now will be under this new legislation. Important is to say that all companies which will fit to the definition of NIS2 must be secure in some way. NIS2 is bringing simply some things: cybersecurity risk management, incident response. Companies must be able to respond quickly. They must be able to produce cybersecurity-related report in some limited time frame, so they must build capabilities. It's bringing supply chain security management, and it's bringing policies and procedures, so it must be documented. It's kind of general document. So companies are not complying themselves to NIS2. This general document must be transposed to the local law, and to that local law, these companies must adhere to. And there is starting the chaos, because in every European country you have different law in different language with different expertise, different level of applicability. And that's why I would like to present you my approach, how I did it in past months for several companies. OT, as I mentioned now, it's not mentioned in NIS2. You can still have some questions, and complaints. It's not there mentioned. No, there is no OT. How I will not do it. It's just for IT. It's not. It's secure the core of these companies, the core of critical infrastructure. And from how they behave, how these companies are acting, how they operating, it's absolutely clear that these control systems is the main core, what needs to be secured. It means that the OT systems and their security is the absolute key, an absolute key part of the NIS2. You can see, I just make some examples of these sectors and how many types of control systems they are. Traffic management, tunnels, there are control systems governing tunnels, for example. So in every of these industries, we are able to find the many OT systems. And these OT systems must be secured. In Czech Republic, we did it how we did it. We did the law, and that law is accompanied by several other documents. And we have management measures, and we have technical measures. So we split the law to the two parts: what the company should have from the management perspective, and what the company should have from the technical perspective. It's very nicely done and very very easily to understand. Important is to say that the law is ending into the management system. So the NIS2 implementation can be done as a simple project, but it ends in a management system. So something what will never stop, what will still be in the company. So it should end with something that company should be able to manage NIS, to manage cybersecurity by itself continuously. What is new here, what is the same from ISO 27 is statement of applicability. It can be like an administration, but all Czech companies under the critical infrastructure, under the NIS2, should create a statement of applicability that how are all clauses of the law applied on their company. We have also operational technologies, OT, mentioned specifically in the law, so it's highlighted. So no one can say that OT is not part of it, because that exactly happened during NIS1 implementation. So Czech Republic has operational technologies specifically mentioned in their cybersecurity law and how it must be secured. Restoring availability, protection against threats, availability of systems, change management, restriction of physical access. One note is that the rest of the law also is applying to OT. Therefore, I did an analysis, detailed analysis, and I tried to understand if all clauses of that law are applicable to OT. And all of them are yes. Therefore, if you will assess your local law and implement and will try to help your local company anywhere in Europe, will it be good if you can look, to specific clauses if they are applicable to the OT environment. In Czech Republic, all clauses are applicable. So I did a mapping, I mapped that, and I tried to explain for every clause of the law how it can be covered by EEC 62443 or ISO 27. It means how the company can every clause of the law cover by these well-known standards. Based on that, I defined several steps. I'm always trying to be in these large international projects involving millions and millions of data, of personal data, for example, thousands of employees. I'm trying to be simple as possible. So I defined only 4 steps. The first step, assessment of applicability and scope of the law. That's what I mentioned right now. Is the company under the law? What is the scope? Step 2, do the cyber risk assessment. How you can secure something if you don't know what you have. It's still the same. I still have it. Still, even advanced companies, what you think, they don't know which systems they have, how it's interconnected, and this is especially true in OT area. OT asset management is the more important than any threat management after that. Because to focus on threats, if you don't know what you have, it just not make any sense. Step 3, determination of difference between the current state of security and desired state. Exactly, the desired state is this NIS2 law, and then ensure that all these things will be repeated continuously. If we look to the detail, during the risk assessment, I looked which systems they have, how they are interconnected. Is there any physical access? For example, if I'm working for wine farms, I will probably, if they are on the sea, I will not, specifically try to resolve in their policy physical accessibility to the wine farm, which is, in the Atlantic Ocean. So also these things are helping to target the correct cybersecurity measures at the end. And I determine security levels. Czech law is ready for that. You can assess security profile of systems, and you can attach the security level, which is nicely mentioned in EEC 62443. Company can have their own scale of security levels. They can define their own. They are recommended to have minimum 3 levels. EEC is working with 5 levels. I will not go here to the detail, but important is to understand that the lowest levels, you don't need to do anything. And the highest levels, you are working into the, you are working against state-sponsored groups, against the most advanced hacker groups with unlimited resources. So now we know what we have, we know which systems we have, and we know what is the security level, how we would like to secure that. Security level it's simple as that. We'll tell you which set of security requirements will be applied to the specific system or specific zone. So let's look here for the example. We have here 3 zones: security level 0, security level 1, security level 2, with different functions. That's why we separate it to the different zones. Zone A has a security level 0, so everything is allowed. The first group of users, second group of users, let's say lower and higher privileges, some different factory in the same company, and some cloud applications. So you do basically nothing. Security level 1, you must monitor it with firewall. So 3 connections are allowed, and the last connections to the cloud is not allowed. And you must monitor the zone with the firewall. Security level 2, everything is the same. Instead, that only one group of users, let's say the one with higher privileges, have access. And you will additionally roll out the multi-factor authentication to them. So you can see here also one direction. You will have, for example, unidirectional gateway, which is a hardware device which will make physically ensure that the access can be only one way. So this is like that. Security level, higher set of security requirements, smaller security level, smaller security set of requirements. It's simple as that when you're defining security. And then you must understand the difference. You must understand what is actual status of these security zones, and you must understand where do you wanna get, what is your target, and based on that, ensure the implementation of missing policies, procedures, implementation of the missing security devices, implementation of network redesign. So we will make a just action plan for each zone, what needs to be done. In this way, it's nicely structured, nicely understandable also to the business, to the company business side, technical managers, factory managers, and etc. And as the last step is the long-term management. This I will hold for a moment. At the end, the architecture can look like that. It's please only educational example. The architecture nicely summarized in Purdue Enterprise Reference Architecture Model, which is a functional model. The security, what will bring you are these zones. So you will know which systems are interconnected with what, and what is the security level of each zone, and what are for each zone applied security requirements. And this is basically the whole cybersecurity. It's good if you have a drawing, if you have something that you can visualize that, because companies usually don't have it, or they have some old paper, some old quality. So it's good that it can be visualized. It's called a zones and conduits drawing. It can be today done in physical form. You can use a Visio, or you can, for example, use some virtual non-intrusive probes. There are vendors for that, which can make even this drawing automatical for you. This is how I assess this large company. You can see I assess it for EEC 62443 and for NIS2, for the Czech law. The main outcome of it is that 90% of NIS2 requirements presented in the Czech law was covered by ISO 27 and EEC 62443. Therefore, with the huge international implementation, we went in a way that this company should comply first with these 2 standards, and then align just these small nuances with the local laws. It means that, as per my experience, the EEC 62443 with combination ISO 27 will cover 90% of NIS2 requirements of the Czech law. So, and then you will just resolve these small differences, which can be. So I make somehow a time plan for 2 years, and I tell them how these zones, step by step, which actions will be done, how it will cost, and how it will be improved in time. Therefore, you are able to see where they will achieve a full compliance with the law. So this one is, and this one is for the Czech Czech version of NIS2, which is much more like, there are more clauses. I went, one of my biggest outcome is that I assess the company for EEC, yes, carefully EEC 62443-2-1, And based on that, on the top, I assess these NIS2 requirements. And you can nicely see then the difference, what is missing. And then you will make a time plan, action plan, you will implement it to the strategy of the company. Then are coming the business negotiation, you will need vendors, you will probably need several of them. And then will come like a nice part of it, the pure implementation. One of the key learnings is that it's good if you can start with one factory, one plant, one location, and then go to the rest. So one plant, you will make it like a raw design, template design. You will make this zones and conduits drawing. You will align it. You will ensure vendors. You will ensure that everything will be correct. You will write a correct policy, and then you will roll it out. So like make one factory, one location can be highly beneficial, because then everything will be much more easier. All these risk assessments which you have afterwards and everything like that will be easier, because you will already have a template. If you are rolling it for several factories, and if you will rolling it, the risk assessment and these activities all at once, you will still have the same questions. It can be exhausting. So if you will go one by one, probably they are using the same systems. So you can pre-fill it, and the last factory which you will select, it can be the most difficult market or some new acquisition. Then you have the most easy job, because by this risk assessment and activities before, it's already pre-filled and pre-worked, and you only need to understand the differences, what they have different. It's much more easier if you will roll it in time. Right, so as a summary, the EEC 62443 and ISO 27 together, so for IT and OT technologies, can be easily integrated and will cover, as per my current practical experience, 90% of whole NIS2 requirements of the Czech law, which is pretty detailed. Start with the model plant and finish with the rest of the plant. Important is that it should not be project which will have one end, but that it will end to the management system. Thank you very much for your attention. Please, questions. I hope that I was able last night to transfer at least some ideas there. If you can have some practical questions, I can answer right to you right now. How the NIS2 implementation practically is ensured to the international large companies acting in many member states in European Union. Happy to answer them, please. Yeah. I know. Yes. Okay. Yep.
Hello. Yep.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, Ilja, for the clear explanation. It was quite explanatory. I wanted to ask you because from what we know from the NIS2, as it's coming from Europe,
Yes.
every country has to transpose. You mentioned about the case from Czech Republic. In Czech Republic law, is explicitly mentioned the 62443, or it's recommended?
Nice question. Thank you very much. I commented Czech law very detailed, and I'm in a very close detailed with the Czech National Cybersecurity Center, like a advisor on the back. And based on this lobby, EEC 62443 is mentioned in one complementary document to the Czech law. So it's not like one document, there are like a set of documents. And yes, so there is explicitly mentioned with documents which are attached to that law that EEC 62443 is one way which company can use to be compliant with this Czech NIS2 law. It was like a 1.5 year long process of negotiation, answering the questions of National Cybersecurity Center, and it's there, yes. Another one, please. Anyone? Any question? All right, so you can find me. I will be really happy to answer any of it afterwards. The OT cybersecurity is my life, so I will be really happy to help you. Let me know via LinkedIn, let me know via email. I can help you, anytime. We'll be really happy. Thank you very much.